next class, and in today's class we are going to discuss post-fertilization events. Now, post-fertilization events means the events that would occur after fertilization. Alright? Now, you know very well in the last class we have discussed that how double fertilization and triple fusion would occur, isn't it? And due to double fertilization and triple fusion, there will be a zygote that would be formed towards the micropylar end of the embryo sac, and in the central cell a triploid pen, primary endosperm nucleus, will develop, isn't it? So now in today's class, under post-fertilization events, we'll be discussing whatever events will occur after this, after the fertilization. Okay? So the post-fertilization event consists of 4 developmental stages, and these are as follows. First is how pen develops into endosperm. Second is how zygote develops into embryo. Next is how ovule would develop into seed, and finally ovary into fruit. So these are the 4 events that would be regarded as post-fertilization event. Okay, we'll be starting with pen into endosperm. Why? Because do remember, this is the sequence of development. The first thing to occur after fertilization is pen will develop into endosperm. Only then the zygote will start developing into embryo, and only then ovule into seed and ovary into fruit. Okay, why is it so? Because see, pen developing into endosperm, endosperm is that food-laden tissue which will provide nourishment to the developing embryo, isn't it? So before the embryo starts developing, the endosperm has to be ready and well developed, isn't it? So that's why after fertilization, the first thing that starts to change is pen into endosperm, then this zygote into embryo, and eventually this too. Alright, remember the sequence. So let us start with pen into endosperm first. Now regarding pen into endosperm, before we discuss about how the pen would develop into endosperm, there are a few important things or points that you must remember about the endosperm. First of all, endosperm is mostly triploid. It is a 3N or triploid structure. Okay. Next, it is a food-laden tissue which provides nourishment to the developing embryo. Alright, it is triploid and it is going to be the tissue which provides nourishment to the developing embryo. Now, it is formed by triple fusion and from the central cell of the embryo sac. Alright, so it develops from the central cell of the embryo sac and it is formed by triple fusion. Alright, now another important point is that in certain families endosperm is absent. Alright, like Podospermaceae Orchidacea and Trapaceae. This is very important. These will act as exceptions. These are families where endosperm would be absent. Now, here I am making a list of few plants according to their endosperm's nature. Okay, according to the nature of their endosperm. Like plants, and here nature of endosperm. Say, if we talk about cereals like rice and wheat, etc., the nature of the endosperm would be starchy. Alright. Next, if we talk about maize. Maize being another cereal, but here the nature of the endosperm will be proteinaceous due to the presence of aleurone layer. You remember aleurone layer? We have discussed it under morphology chapter in morphology of monocot seed. Then if we talk about castor or coconut, it would be oily, ivory palm, cellulosic, date palm is going to be hemicellulosic. Alright, so these are a list of few plants according to the nature of their endosperm. Alright, now for few important points also if we talk about, another exception can be Enothera. In Enothera, very important, endosperm is diploid, 2N. Alright, and in betel nut, endosperm is stony. Alright, so these are a few important points that you must know before we discuss about the development of endosperm. Alright, now let us discuss development of endosperm. As you know very well, see, endosperm is a triploid structure which is formed centrally in the embryo sac, right? So now the development of endosperm can be of two types. First, free nuclear endosperm. Free nuclear endosperm is the most common type of endosperm. See, first of all, suppose this is the embryo sac and this being the micropylar end, this being the salazar end. So this is the zygote, right? And this is the primary endosperm nucleus that has been formed. So this is primary endosperm nucleus and this is the zygote. Okay, keeping in mind their position, let's see how the development of pen would take place, how pen would develop into endosperm. Alright. See, in free nuclear endosperm formation, first of all, a vacuole will centrally start arising in the embryo sac. due to which primary endosperm nucleus will be pushed towards the periphery. Being at the periphery, the primary endosperm nucleus will undergo various rounds of karyokinases, means nuclear division. Okay, so only nuclear division is happening. Try to understand this. Here only karyokinases is happening. It is not being followed by cytokinesis. So these are all free nuclei that are being formed at the periphery of the embryo sac. Alright? Eventually, after a lot of free nuclei has gathered at the periphery, the vacuole starts to disappear, and due to that, the free nuclei, they will now scatter themselves or distribute themselves equally throughout the embryo sac. Only then valve formation will start. That means cytokinesis will begin. Now cytoplasm, like each of these nuclei will start getting surrounded by thin peripheral cytoplasm followed by cell wall formation. So that's when this part will convert into a solid tissue. Alright? So this is how it will happen, see. This being the zygote as usual. Now each of these nuclei will start getting surrounded by thin peripheral cytoplasm followed by cell wall formation. That's when it takes the shape of a tissue, and this tissue, or in this tissue, each of the cell would be filled up or would consist of reserve food material. That's how they will give rise to a food-laden tissue. And this food-laden tissue would eventually give nourishment to this developing zygote. Alright? So this is a solid cellular tissue that has been formed, and this was the free nuclear endosperm. It only consists of nuclei, no cell. Okay? So this is called free nuclear endosperm formation. Alright? Example can be many, like cotton, maize, etc. Alright, just remember this. Here, the endosperm is liquid because it consists of only nuclei. But as soon as it starts converting into cell, that means cytoplasm followed by cell wall starts to develop. Now the endosperm becomes solid. It's liquid here, it's solid here. Alright. Now the next type is going to be called as cellular endosperm. Let's see what it is all about. Cellular endosperm. Now in cellular endosperm, as usual again, suppose this is the embryo sac, this being the zygote in the micropylar end, this is the salazar end, and this is primary endosperm nucleus pen. Okay? This is pen. Here, the primary endosperm nucleus from the very first go, as soon as karyokinesis will occur in the primary endosperm nucleus, it will be followed by cytokinesis as well. So that means from the very beginning, it will give rise to cells. number of cells will keep increasing as division starts occurring. Alright, and eventually it will give rise to a compact mass of cells. Compact mass of cell will be formed eventually. So from the very beginning, karyokinesis will be continued or it will be followed by cytokinesis. That's why from the very beginning, the endosperm will be cellular or solid. Alright, example will be petunia. Now here I would try to mark a very important fact regarding endosperm formation, which has been asked many a times in the entrance exam, and that is related to coconut. In the morphology chapter itself, you have come to know that the edible part of coconut is endosperm, isn't it? Now we eat coconut in two forms, right? Either as coconut water or else the solid coconut kernel, right? So both the forms are of course endosperm, but then coconut water is free nuclear endosperm, whereas solid coconut kernel that we eat, that is cellular endosperm. This is very important for your exam. Alright, so coconut consists of two types of endosperm. It is the liquid form or it is also in the solid form. The liquid form is the coconut water and solid form is the coconut kernel. Alright, so this is all about endosperm development. Now let's see what is the fate of endosperm. Now you know very well that endosperm is meant for nourishing the embryo, isn't it? So in that case, that can give rise to two possibilities. First, endosperm is exhausted in mature seeds. That means by the time the seed will mature, the embryo will take up the entire endosperm and the endosperm hence will get exhausted. So such seeds are known as X-albuminous or non-endospermic seeds. Alright, this is a very important fact that you must know. Example will be pea, bean, groundnut, etc. Alright. On the other hand, the other possibility is that endosperm persist in mature seeds. So here, the endosperm, even after the seed has fully matured and it is fully developed, the endosperm will still persist. Such seeds will be known as albuminous or endospermic seeds. Example will be rice, wheat, the fate of endosperm. Next are a few terminologies, important terminologies. So finally the last topic for today's class will be few important terminologies that are related to the endosperm. First is xenia. The effect of foreign pollen on the endosperm character is called xenia. Alright. The term xenia was first coined by Fock, and the example for it can be seen in endosperm color in the maize. Rather, it was first discovered in the endosperm color in maize itself. Alright. Next is metaxenia, that is the effect of foreign pollen on the somatic tissues that lies outside the endosperm. Alright. This was discovered by Zwingli, and the example for it will be date palm. In date palm, the size of the fruit and the maturity time will be decided upon by the foreign pollen. Okay. Finally, ruminate endosperm. Ruminate endosperm means the endosperm which have surface irregularities. Okay. Example can be Passiflora and Annona. Whereas mosaic endosperm, mosaic itself, the name itself means patches, isn't it, of different various colors. So that is what it means. Endosperm with different colored patches would be known as mosaic endosperm. Example is maize. Fine. So that much for today's class. In the next class we'll start with the second event of development, that is how zygote develops into embryo. Alright. Thank you.